Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be going really quickly over the Maxis side of the Easter egg, because there isn't too many videos out there that explain it too well, and mine's not going to explain it all that well either, but I'm going to give you the gist of it so you know exactly what to do and what not to do. So, the first thing you want to do is build this trample steam, and most of the parts can be found in the first room, but if you follow this panning shot in this first sequence, you will find every piece, and then after you get every single piece with your 4 players, go ahead and jump down and build it. Now at this point you would have wanted to actually buy the SVU off the wall before it's too late, because you're going to need it eventually anyways, and you're going to be doing most of this in the first 10 rounds. Hopefully that's the plan here. So after you do that, go ahead and obviously build the trample steam, get the SVU if you can before you jump down, and then start making your way to power, because the next step requires you to turn the power on to get on the elevators. Now after you've turned the power on, the next step is to get on each one of the elevators. I'm going to show you in each panning shot. There's 4 total, and the last panning shot will have both of the elevators in one panning shot because they're right next to each other. Now the idea here is to stand on every single one of these elevators all at the same time on the metal emblems, and they will light up bright yellow when you've completed it. So these are the panning shots. If you have any difficulty finding them, just reference this. It'll be pretty easy. I tried to pan in from a distance so you know a general idea of how to get to it from that particular spot, if you can find that spot. So you know what I'm saying. But the last panning shot is the one with the 2 elevators. These ones are really easy to do because they're right next to each other and they go up and down pretty quick because there's only 2 floors. Now this next shot is an example of what happens when the elevators light up. So you actually see it in this clip. You'll know that you'll have it done when you see this event happen. And there it is. The next step is to have all 4 players step on these symbols in sequence. So one player has to step on it. If theirs lights up, you're good to go. If the next player steps on it and the other one doesn't light up, you have to start over and you have to get them in the certain pattern. It's different every time, so you kind of have to have one person step on, next person step on until you get it right. It's kind of like Simon Says, but not really. So these are all the locations for those emblems. If you need to reference this, do that. That's what this is here for. And there you go. The next step is to have the person with the SVU go ahead and head to the roof and shoot the balls out of the mouth of the dragons. This will create fireworks that come off the dragon's ass cheek. So once that's done, you'll know that's done, and you can go ahead and start the next step. The next step, and by far the easiest step of them all, is to just go back to the spawn room and grab the balls out of the lion's hands. 2 players need to grab 1 each. Now the next step, and probably the most annoying step of them all, is to go ahead and head down to the Buddha room, or the temple as some people call it, and you're going to want to stand next to the Buddhas. Now, the players that have the balls, one wants to stand next to each statue, so 1 player that has a ball at each statue, and then just kill the zombies near the statues, and eventually you'll hear Maxis say, "Reincarnation is key," and once you hear him say that, you're done, and you can go ahead and move on to the next step. Now after you've done that, you're going to want to have one of the players with the balls go ahead and go to the box and hit it until you get the ballistic knives. It's going to take a few tries, obviously, as you can see here. It took Lax about 2 tries, so I'm just fucking with you guys. It's gone pretty quick. I think that the Easter egg actually knows when you're doing the Easter egg and it actually gives them to you sooner, so it shouldn't be too much of a trouble, but at any rate, just have the 2 people with the balls keep it in the box until you get the ballistic knives, and then you want to go ahead and go upgrade them, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now once you've done that, upgraded the knives, just go to the temple and shoot it at the ground in the Buddha room, and that's that step. That's a really easy step. Once you have a pack-a-punch, you just run down there and shoot it at the ground. The next step is to grab trample steams and place them on these markers so that they make an X across the map. Now the best way to do this is to just get everybody, grab the trample steams, find your markers, and put them down. Once you put them down, you will not be able to pick it up again, so you'll know it's in the right spot, and sometimes it'll make a weird sound. So Put those down. Now, what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm going to put a clip after this one that shows where every single one is. So pay attention to these, remember where they are before you get in the game so you don't have to come back and reference it again, because they're in pretty obvious spots, so you may not even need to look at the guide again. You can just run around and find them on the ground. So just put your trample steams on those, and then we'll move on to the next step. After you've placed down all your trample steams in these correct spots and you know they're stuck and you know they're good, you want to get the players with the balls and stick them on the trample steam so that they cross over each other. Once you're done, you'll know because the tower will light up and it'll have 4 posts on it. At this point, you're going to want to head to where all these Mahjong tablets are and write down the color, the bamboos that are in the number, and the direction that they are. I'm going to give you a cheat sheet down in the description below to indicate north, south, east, and west and how Mahjong tablets work. If you don't know how they work, you're not going to be able to do this, so look at that guide, and I'll give you a little bit of an explanation right now. Basically, there's 4 different wind directions: north, south, east, and west. Okay, so you need to punch these in a particular order. For instance, we have a blue north here. We always know that this is north because it's always on that point, so you always know where north is. So if you find a blue tablet that has 2 sticks of bamboo, and it's blue, you know that's the second one to hit. If you go on to, let's say, if you find a green north, you want to find the ace tablet, which is the bird, which is green. So the colors will correspond to the direction and when you need to hit them. So after that, you would find a south, and say, let's say the emblem for south is red, and you find a red bamboo with 4 on it. You're going to want to hit the red one the 4th time. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and then 4, you'll hit red, which would be south. So red, south, 4. So once you know the order in which the pylons need to be punched, go ahead, get the person with the galv knuckles, send them up, and go punch them. As you can see here, Lax is actually getting prepared to do it right now. We double checked a few times, so it kind of takes him a minute to punch him, but this is what the tower should look like when you need to punch it. If I didn't show you earlier, I apologize, but you should know when it lights up. This is what the tower looks like when you need to punch him, so go figure out those tiles, and then come back up here and punch him. And you'll definitely know if you've done it right or if you've done it wrong. If you get it wrong, it'll shut down and you have to wait until the next round to try it again. So in theory, you could just guess a few rounds. You could sit there and punch it in any order that you want to try, but that'll take ages. You could always just go look at the Mahjong tablets and get it done right the first time. Once it's done, the dragon will shoot out big old fireballs at each player, and every time one of those balls hits a player, they get all their perks. So you get every perk for free, and that's the end of Maxis's Easter egg. I hope this has helped. To be honest, I don't think I've done this very well, but I wanted to just get it out there in the quickest manner possible, in the most rough format, so you guys can just have something to reference really quickly. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next video.